I really wish that this episode was going to be videoed as well, because I have a prop that I can't wear along
Over
with
your
my
hair.
headphones, but I do have a prop. And for those of you listening, my prop is a really awesome, very sleek black cowboy hat that I'm wearing in honor of my guest today. Beth, do you like my hat?
I love your hat. It goes so well with your hair. I mean, it's perfect for you.
It would
Absolutely
be even
perfect.
better. It would be even better without my headphones on, but I have to pick. I have a lot of hair, there's a lot of stuff, but I thought that you would enjoy my black cowboy hat. Maybe I'll take a photo and we'll put it up with the
I think we should have you and Larry and maybe Garth Brooks next to him, because I'm getting that vibe. I'm getting that
But you're
vibe.
giving away our guest right now.
Leave it to me. I always do that.
Dun, dun, dun.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Sunbelt Temporary Structures podcast. I'm Liz Wilson.
And I'm Beth Walling.
And we're so glad to have you back here today. So without further ado, I am going to introduce our guest for this week, Mr. the one and only, who wears a hat better than I do, Mr. Larry Clippinger. Welcome, Larry.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Larry, where in the world are you?
Oh Lord, I am in the great state of Wisconsin.
Oh,
and
wow.
In a very eventful city called Racine.
All
which,
right.
if anybody knows about baseball, it's a great thing for the Women's Baseball League. When it first came out, Racine was one of the female teams that was out there.
I learned
So they had a
something
memorial
new.
up there. Yeah.
So we're getting education along with an interview to learn more about Larry. I love this.
Larry, is there a state you haven't been to?
No.
No.
Wow.
Oh my God, that's so impressive. Well,
If you just want to ask if there's any major city I haven't been to, I think I can count off everyone but maybe one or two of the major cities and states. But
Is that the lower 48, or does that include the others?
no, I'm one of the only ones that's been up to Alaska.
Okay.
There's a couple of us that have been up there, but we just started really going back up to work up there past couple of years. So Anchorage is a beautiful place, but I was in just in the upper ring of fire, as they call it, on the slopes. It was really nice, really nice.
Okay. Well, for those joining us, I am the newest of all three of us, obviously, because, I'm just the newbie. So from my standpoint, there's a lot that I don't know about you. Like, I don't know where you're from. I don't know how long you've been with Mahaffey, then Sunbelt. Tell me a little bit about that first.
So I actually was introduced into the Mahaffey family back in 97. I was living in Florida, and I had just broken up with a young girl I was dating there in Orlando area. And I got into doing temp work because I was working for Albertson's Grocery as a manager overnight. And so I wanted to make some extra money during the daytime. So I saw this temp agency there in Orlando, and they were going, hey, you want to go put up tents? I was introduced to two people, Cecil Brown, Robert Winstead, and George was down there. William was there. I didn't get to meet William's father until maybe 2 years after that. But I spent doing temp work for him for 2 years before I actually got invited by George to come up to Tennessee.
So that's about 27 years.
It sure is. It sure is. And it's been definitely a challenging 27 years. But I will say this, and I'm probably one of only maybe a couple here that's going to say I love my job. I love what I do. Very passionate.
That's amazing.
People know that. People know that you're enthusiastic. It's contagious.
that it can be at times. It can be, especially in these events that we do. So I moved up to Tennessee not knowing anybody. Just drove my truck up here. I got to the front doors at Mahaffey, met George, and pretty much at the they were just transitioning from down the street to the church where they were at. And I had an acquaintance that I knew. His name was Cedric, and he worked in the local division. And so he helped me find a place to stay for a few weeks before I can get on my feet. And it was just after that it took off.
That's amazing.
So I worked in local / national back then. I met my second lovely wife in 2001, and then I had my first son in 2004, and then in 2005 my daughter was born. Almost the same year, because they were, I don't know how you call it, but they were twins, but he came out first and then she came out later. So I don't know what you call that.
Irish twins?
Thank you. Is that the term they call that? Because, I am,
Yeah, Irish twins.
Well,
That was a good segue then, because that leads us right into one of these questions that was also on my mind, which is, because you have been with us so long, how do you manage and balance your work life and your home life?
I am going to be totally honest with you, Beth. I failed miserably at it. I did. But by failing, I also learned then there's things in which you can pass on to other people saying, hey, that didn't work out for me so well. It may not work out for you, but just to give advice. Just shortly after my daughter was born, I left Mahaffey for 2 years to help raise my son and daughter. But the love of the job and just wanting to do this for some god-awful reason that's in my soul, I came back and worked, and then it deteriorated my marriage because it didn't work that way for her. And so, but at the same time, when you're on the road and you're, say, you're what do we call not a missing dad or something like that. You're a dad that is in the events where they need to be done. So if there's an event you need to be there, be there. I am that guy that says, please, because at the end of the day, you don't want to sit there and I think Kevin Singh and I both agreed to this whole thing where we turned around and all of a sudden our kids were 20.
Yeah.
Where did it go? I mean, where did the time go? I mean, literally, I can still tell you stories of my kids. We would be at hotels and stuff and hanging out, going swimming. And yeah, that was gone. So cherish what you have, really, because there's nothing that can replace it.
So as a mentor for other folks that have young families and are out on the road and struggle with that, I'm sure that you're able to give them advice from your personal experience, but you feel like it is still achievable to do this job. And then as long as you're making sure that the time at home is quality and making sure that you earmark those milestones in your children's life, Oh,
I totally agree, Liz. I mean, we sit here and it's like, you preach like you see the new babies coming in, which is a beautiful thing.
It is a baby boom. There is a baby boom in temp structures for sure. Yeah.
And so, we contrast that into downtime. So, when we have downtime and then you have time when we're really busy. So,
yeah.
But again, it takes a really strong woman also to be in this industry with us. I will always account that the wife is one of the strongest links a lot of times because she has to deal with our ever-changing schedule, our lucrative coming and going, and plans. And so that's a really tough thing a lot because it's just like a military wife. I've always, I always said that. And I think there's several guys that are in the military can relate that.
Yeah, or spouse in general. I think that when one partner makes a decision to have a job that requires as much travel as you guys do, I think in any role, even there are folks across other lines of business in Sunbelt, regardless of gender, that make those decisions and sacrifices. And if you have a good partnership, with your partner at home, I think it can go really well. So I'd love to transition into talking a little bit about your role and how it's changed over the years, evolved, I should say, over the years. And for a long time, when I first met you, the role that you took on was what we called a supervisor only. And which, for anybody who doesn't know what that term means, it's a supervisor that goes to jobs and oversees an installation that's done by our customers' provided labor. So generally speaking, you're working with folks you've never met and you're telling them what to do. So I imagine that's tough, right? Yeah. So what have you learned?
I think I learned the best thing is like I can circle back and say, having my children and my son is autistic, that you have the ability to teach anyone because you have patience. And it doesn't matter if they know what they're doing or they don't know what they're doing. If they're completing the task you ask, you can't ask for any more else. I mean, it doesn't have to be the Tower of Pisa. We're building a structure. You're putting the bolts in. You're tightening the bolts. This is what we do. And so I've found that not micromanaging them or not trying to think that they are a happy worker or Sunbelt workers. Mm-hmm. They're not them. They are somebody that's just, they're coming to do a job and they're going to go home.
So while they're there, I'm assuming that you came up with processes and methods that really can break it down to be pretty simple. So for somebody it's their first day, right? It's like, it's always their first day.
Yeah. And again, you always have the first day because they always give you new people every day too. So that's the challenging point too. And, a lot of these supervisors that are in our family, they get the chance to go out there and do supervisor onlys. Then they come back and always tell me, I don't know how you did it. I don't know how we thought it would be the greatest thing in the world. You're going there, it seems like you go in, you just sit, relax, and you have a good time, and you're not.
Does it make the job go longer if you're having to basically retrain every day, or does it just actually make it better because you're walking through how to do it each time?
That's a double-edged sword, Beth, because in a lot of the places I go to, it just depends on who you have as workers. Mm-hmm. It's like, so if they give you laborers, you're going to have to take your mindset saying, okay, I've just got guys that are hands. They may not know what a screwdriver is. They may not even know what a hammer is. They push a broom. Or you have iron workers on the other hand of it that you go, I like to can we see your blueprints? Well, sure. Here's our blueprints. We got this. Go sit in your truck.
Yeah. Hey, isn't that nice when you get those days, right? Oh, man.
But you still don't want to sit in the truck because you sit there because they like to bang on stuff quite a bit, and our stuff doesn't like to be banged on.
This is true. Yes. That's fair. But yeah, man, to work with folks that know what they're doing is really nice.
It is, and it is. But you don't get that. I mean, that's a lot of things. I think, one of the things I like to reflect back is, we have this refinery we go to quite a bit. And regardless of how many times we've been there, we always have so many problems because it's such an old refineries. Ground disturbances is evident. And then you always get delays from that because, we thought there was no pipe there, and all of a sudden there's a pipe. So even that part of it, and, Beth, that's the delays. I mean, you see a lot of that, and it's unknown. It's the big unknown question that we can't put in billing. You can't put it in. It's like weather. You can't bill for weather, and that's something I wish we could do because, boy, I think our pockets would be a whole lot lined.
Our whole business is the weather. Yeah, our whole business is the weather. Yeah. Oh man. So in your time working on different projects, at least in the supervisor only capacity, or now that you are back to having a full team, can you think of any examples of projects that challenged your commitment to safety? Because just talking about weather, for example, and I know you're somebody who is an ambassador for safety in every sense of the word. And so I'm wondering, have you ever faced that job that was super tempting to bend rules?
There's several, but I can mark one right off that, beach festival, it's called the Hangout Fest. You're putting tents up on moving sand. And so, and it's a double decker, and literally there's nothing light about that tent. Even the handrails are heavy. And so there's so many things that we had to do that, what if we picked it up with ropes? What if we do it this way and try, or, we can use this. And it's like, no. And it was, Chris Williams, great guy, worked with him many years. He always was the man. He had this thing, we just don't have to do it this way. But I love them. I mean, we got to love how you get together with their ideas and how we would sit at the job. And you're so tempted to do it the wrong way, where things could go so wrong in the quicksand, basically. If you drop a wrench, you might as well forget about it. It's gone.
Jeez.
Well, what about the challenge of being a supervisor only with your client's labor? Do you find that they possibly want a shortcut and you have to bring them back and go, no, that's not safe. We need to do it this way?
That is a daily challenge. That is definitely a daily challenge. It doesn't matter where you are, East Coast, West Coast, North, South. Any place where you're dealing with other people's safety and what they do, there are several companies out there that have their own different safety or their view of safety. And they think, oh, theirs is the best view. But then we have to sit there and go, I understand that, but this is a Sunbelt site for right now until we transition it over and the tent is up. So if that is, can we please find a happy medium middle here? And I always try to find a middle ground a lot of times when it comes to safety with these companies, because they're not too different than us. They're really not. One is just, they go, it's tit for tat if you're doing some things. But other than that, we're probably on the same cusp as most other companies are when it comes to safety.
Can you think of a particular project that you had a big moment of growth on, or you saw a team member have a big moment of growth on over the years?
Oh, wow. There was a job that Gary Moe, myself, and people, we were in Denver, Colorado, and we put a 40-meter glass front structure up, and we're doing this glass front and everything, and we put this tent up in a parking lot that was just adjacent to it, and none of us were told about any electricity or anything like that. And we're sitting here in a moment. We all put, and we thought it was like, you know how you get on the floor of our Sherlock flooring, and you kind of scuff your feet across and you get electrified. You can shock somebody because of the static electricity. Well, we had the Sherlock floor down. We had all this on this concrete, and it was just a concrete parking lot. We're all sitting there, and I go up and try to attach a light. I get zapped literally so bad that you can see like a blue flame or like a lightning bolt. And then I come down and Mo goes up there. And Mo puts the light on. He gets zapped. Now, there's three of us in this tent. Jamie Bishop was the third person. He says, now, wait a minute, guys.
I'm not going up there.
I was waiting for the joke. How many Sunbelt guys does it take to install a light?
Yeah, Jamie is a smart man. All right.
And I tell you, when we sat there, and at the end of that job, no one wanted to take that tent down. No one wanted to go there. And we still couldn't find it this day. There's no power under it. There was no electricity. There was no nothing.
So you don't know what electrified the tent?
No, none of us do.
It's terrifying.
That is.
And the learning growth of the whole situation that is, it don't matter how many times you can survey something. You can survey it till your nose bleeds. There's still something that is going to happen. So it's just that growth of knowing your wits. If you see something, say something. And that was something Jamie did. And I really, to this day, that's a moment. It's like, man, I'm not going up there. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, that is terrifying.
It makes me want to go, though. Did you get a superpower from that or anything?
Jeez.
Here's the funny thing you want to say from that is, that's where, the really of the cowboy originated from that job. That I started wearing my hat all the time instead of just when I went out. Didn't want my hair because it was standing up on me.
Jeez. Well, I'm going to be wearing my cowboy hat all the time now. I can't get enough of it.
I'm going to have to go get one.
Yeah.
My little Sunbelt hat is not nearly as fun as the
this is my new look. I'm entering into this new era. This is like Western wear Liz. It's happening.
That is. It could be the greatest thing, too. It's a great transition. People, they always say when you walk into a store, it's like, hey, I like your hat. And it's like, okay.
So, so truth be told, I'm going to see Beyonce tomorrow for the Cowboy Carter tour. So that is the reason I have a hat. And then the fact that it arrived today and we were talking to Larry, I was like, well, I absolutely have
Perfect
to.
timing.
Now, yeah, like now it's like I absolutely have to wear it.
You're just gonna have to let me shape it sometime, Liz. It needs a little shape to it.
Don't thank you. Well, yeah, we can offline about that and go into detail. And I appreciate you and all of your knowledge. It's tense, life and hats. So back to the tent stuff, right?
Yes.
Is there a method or a tool or something? Because I think that the three of us can commit to the fact that we're lifelong learners, right? And
Absolutely.
we like to be around lifelong learners. So we could talk about things that we learned 20 years ago, but we're always learning. So is there something that you would say is new in your toolbox in the last year, like a tool that you prefer or use, physical tool or metaphorical, or a method that you have found is a better way to do it?
Okay. Well, I would definitely. It's better way of doing something or a tool. I would love just to introduce and to say my team I work with, Jarius and Leroy and little young Jordan, even though he's new. Having them in my toolbox, I will have to say, has been a new asset to me, to where I see things totally different than when I have been with the supervisor only. And even before, when I had a team years ago and went out and did jobs. And to take, just for instance, Jarius he knows everything. They work together in sync. It's like you don't have to think. It's like a moving muscle, and it's awesome. So I've got to get used to that, because I'm used to having to work this guy, and put these guys into a place. But the guys I've got, it's a wonderful thing. And so for me, having that new tool in my toolbox, I'll definitely take that any day for their knowledge and what they're doing for not just the growth and progress of me. And that's a big thing, because I like to grow. I always want to learn. I want to always move forward instead of being stagnant. These guys are challenging me every day, and it's great.
Puts a new definition, I guess, of teamwork out there and the power of your teammates.
Oh, truly, because like I said, working as a supervisor only to transition, I don't think there's too many people. It's very hard. To me, I would say it was probably the most challenging thing in my career of temps is making the transition. But now that I have and had a couple good wake-up calls, as in the saying my guy says, look, we know what we're doing. We got this. Trust us. And it's like, okay. Yeah.
So you grew as a leader.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if we can't take things like that to grow as leaders, then a company doesn't grow, right? And if a company can't grow, how can we, explore other things and other options, other things that we're trying to do?
One of the things when I interviewed Rob Skates at a previous episode, he made a similar comment related to coaching his team. And he said the moment that he loves is when his team challenges the method that he puts out there. Cause he's like, now I know that they're growing enough to be confident to challenge me. And then we force each other to rise to the occasion. We force each other to be better. So it's really nice to be surrounded by excellence. I want to be in the room with people that are smarter than me, so that I can learn, right? Like,
well, that's not just learn. You can actually not say ride somebody else's coattail for a minute, but instead of dragging the coattail along where people have ridden yours for many years, you can sit there and go, take that deep breath.
There's trust. Yeah. And I think trust is a big part of it too. Yeah. And I think Jarius has been, I adore working with him. I had the pleasure of working with him since I started. So I'm a big Jarius fan. We have just a few minutes left and I'd love to talk about fun stuff. So What's your thing? What do you like to do after work? What's after work Larry look like? Aside from hat shopping. Like, what else do you do?
I wish I could. I mean, I'm relearning now, Liz and Beth, on how to do for Larry. I have done for many years. Everything has been for my kids. Every minute I'm in Memphis, every minute I'm off time, it was for my kids.
I can relate.
Yeah. So this is the first year I've actually trying hard to stop and do for me or do something for me. But I'm telling you, I'm failing miserably.
Oh. But
I wish I had a success story. I wish I had a success story yet, but I don't. But maybe,
are you going to take up golf and join the Shoops brothers and all of their golf trips when they're off?
Yeah, no, sorry. Chasing a little white ball around grass is not my forte.
Well, you like to work out, right? You like to work out.
I did. I had a huge passion. I was in bodybuilding when I was younger, and I've always kept myself in pretty good shape. But getting at my age now, I have to do things differently. Mm-hmm. So isometrics is my big thing I have to go to now. And as we know, we all age, we get our health issues that start arising, like blood pressure and, your glucose levels and all that good stuff. So there's other factors I have to balance now instead of trying to go back to training. So I've actually going and I play darts.
Oh, I love darts.
Yes. And that was something I loved to do when I was in a high school / you could 3 college years and everything. That was something I really loved going to play darts. And so
I played at that age too, like high school, mm-hmm. college. Yeah.
Did you actually hit the dart board? Because
I have my own darts.
Oh. I was going to say.
No, that's how that was the level of investment that I had in that. It was super fun.
I was one of those guys that had the little box. And you had the different flights and all the things that were in there.
Very serious about the flights. What weight are you shooting? All right. That's
exactly.
When you are like committed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have the different ounces and the different things. So not to get back that serious, but I really liked it because when I was in Alaska, I met several couples that were in this little hokey bar. And it's the greatest little hole in the wall. But it's been there since, what they say, 1827 or something like that. Mm-hmm. These people were like so friendly, and they were out there, don't darts with us. Let's just don't darts with us. Don't just sit there and watch.
Yeah.
And I started to, and I started really liking it again. So it was like,
It's a really nice social hobby. And
right.
So,
it's not like playing pool or horseshoes and stuff like that. Horseshoes is fun too. I do that when I go to Baltimore. And I visit some people there that I know because I did a lot of big jobs in Baltimore area. So, but darts would be the hobby that I like to pick up now. So,
mm-hmm. So when you're on the road, are you a cooker or an eater-outer?
Oh, I'm becoming the eater-outer again, but it's evolved. It's that whole big circle. For many years, you sit there and you go, oh, I just want a big cheeseburger from somewhere else other than me making it or the steaks or anything like that. But yes, I have as everybody else, I have my own grill set up. I have, the microwaves and everything, all the good stuff. I travel with seasonings and stuff like that, and, in my trailer, it's pretty cool because a lot of the guys, when we start getting these trailers, they start looking, going, I got mine. They went, you got a grill in there? I said, yeah, it's an electric grill that hooks up to your generator. And any time of the day, if you want to have a hot meal, you can have a hot meal because then I've got, the little oven there and it works out.
Yeah.
In the mini fridge.
What's your go-to meal?
Oh, shoot. If I have a go-to meal, I just like a good pork chop. I like pork chops. Always have, steaks, meats, that's all good and fine and dandy. But a good thick pork chop with just the right amount of salt and pepper on it. Best ever.
Got it. The other white meat.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
I want to do a whole episode on like health and wellness and like staying healthy on the road, eating right, making good decisions. I wonder if people.
I
listen.
probably
You know
need to listen to that one.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's super important, and maybe it's just, and I think because all of us are in that midlife range and made bad decisions 20 years ago that we're paying for, right? Like the herniated discs I have, and like whatever, like how many guys are on blood pressure medication, and I'm like,
Oh, exactly.
we can make
It's
different decisions,
Oh, exactly. I mean, because a lot of the guys out here, I mean, we shop at grocery stores, and that's always the first thing that me and my team we do. Actually, we usually either go to Walmart or we go to Kroger's or Aldi's or wherever, and we've gotten Jordan, our young guy, involved in doing that instead of ordering out to DoorDash or Uber Eats and stuff like that. He says, "Huh." So, and we kind of Jarius and Leroy and I are kind of teaching to do different things where you don't have to sit there and eat out. You can just go there.
It saves money too.
I have it. We're
yeah.
going to do the Sunbelt Field Crew cookbook.
Oh,
there you go.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We can, each one of y'all can give us a good recipe. That I think it would be awesome.
I mean, you can have pages and pages saying, this is the Bishop way, Jamie Bishop.
Yes.
I mean, he cooks a good meal. The Shoop's boys, I'm sure they all can cook there with their fair hands of things. I've cooked out with Bobby Shoop so many times when he was starting out. Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Well, it's something important for all these kids to learn when they're coming along, because you're right. They need to learn to eat in order to stay healthy when they're on the road. And you guys know how to do it.
Well, I love that you guys are all into this idea. So,
you said cookbook. I said, bam, all right.
Done.
Yes.
Done. This is so good. Well, Larry, this was such a nice chat.
Yes, awesome.
Thank you so much.
I know. I feel like
time.
I learned so much about you.
Just a little different. I'm kind of the different breed of most of our other guys, because I've been with us a long time, but I've also been in the challenge of going up the ladder, then coming back down the ladder, and then going back up the ladder. So, it's a whole experience and learning thing. So I hope that, if anybody has anything to ask, they can always ask me. I'll always pick up the phone.
Well, if you're ever near Mandeville, you need to come visit with us for a bit, because we would love to have some of your expertise. And I'll make you some gumbo.
Can't eat spicy foods.
We've been talking about this gumbo for like 5 episodes. So if we don't produce a recipe soon, I think people are going to start getting upset.
Hearing from that first episode of Beth's of her famous gumbo.
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
I made it for Safety Week. I fed the guys jambalaya one day. I made gumbo one day. I made French toast casserole one day. I made breakfast casserole one day. And then I had to rest on day 5 and do something else, because I said, this is more cooking than I've done since I got married a few years ago. So,
okay.
Well, thank you, Larry, so much. This was so great.
Yep.
So,
you guys have a great, safe week.
Yes, you too. And same to everyone else out there driving around listening to us. Thank you for continuing to listen, and please send us ideas for more episodes. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye all.